of DNC Vice Chair David Hogg's efforts to primary ineffective Democrats in safe blue districts. Now, this comes after longtime Democratic strategist James Carville called Hogg a contemptible little twerp.
In this video, we're back with Anna Kasparian at the Young Turks. Anna Kasparian talks about the current infighting in the Democrat Party. With that, let's watch Anna Kasparian show us more evidence of something we already know. The Democrats eat their own.
You heard Hakeem Jeffries. He actually seemed a little irritated with you.
Primaries are a fact of life, but here's the thing. I'm going to really focus on trying to defeat Republican incumbents.
I think it's going to be a hell of a lot harder for us to defeat Republicans with a 27% approval rating, where we cannot simply go out there and say, look, guys, we're not Donald Trump, vote for us.
Well, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries made clear that he is not a fan, he is not supportive of DNC Vice Chair David Hogg's efforts to primary ineffective Democrats in safe blue districts. Now, this comes after longtime Democratic strategist James Carville called Hogg a contemptible little twerp who should be sued by the DNC over his strategy idea.
Yes. And so who's right? David Hogg is right. Whether we agree with the particular candidates that he backs or not, the idea of having primaries is indisputably the correct one. But what I'm fascinated by is the pushback from the establishment.
I'm fascinated by that too, but I'm also fascinated by the lack of any questions, any journalist probing David Hogg in regard to what are you specifically looking for in regard to the candidates that would challenge the Democratic incumbents? Is it based on culture war stuff? Or is it based on economic stuff?
Yeah.
Or both, I don't know. But no one's asking those questions and it's kind of frustrating.
Yeah, I have answers to what my reaction would be based on whichever answer David gives. But it's funny because we heard all this talk about, oh no, the Democratic Party, they really got to know when accounting after this stunning loss where they lost every swing state, the popular vote. And there's like tons of articles in the New York Times and those kind of publications talking about, oh, the Democrats really need populists and a change, etc. But the minute you offer change, boo, terrible, protect the incumbents, protect the establishment. Yeah, that's what I thought.
So David Hogg reiterated his strategy while appearing on ABC's This Week over the weekend. I want to go to that video and then we'll talk a little bit about Jeffrey's reaction to it and more. Let's take a look.
This David Hogg guy that we're about to watch, I guess he's the vice chair of the DNC now. I know the word cringe is overused, but he, to me, is one of the cringiest human beings alive. And I think we're going to see some clips of him here. So if you haven't seen him before, tell me I'm wrong. So being douchey aside, here's what he's right in doing with this whole thing. He's right to try to get ineffective Democrats out of there. I don't know what ineffective means, kind of like Anna said, on culture war stuff or economy. Is he trying to go more left woke or trying to go more center? And maybe they talk about that. But ineffective Democrats, I don't know how they define that. I mean, ineffective and Democrat mean the same thing as far as I'm concerned. But I think the Republican Party needs some of that too. Some of these rhinos, never Trumpers in safe districts. I do think we should get them out of there just to help the current administration accomplish what they're trying to get done without friggin' pushback from their own party, We need people that are buying into what Donald Trump is trying to do. That's what the American people voted for. I don't like James Carville either, but David Hogg is a twerp and just so embarrassing. It's really hard for me to watch, but it's like a car crash, that's just really bad and you want to look away, but you can't. Anyway, check it out.
What I'm trying to do with this effort right now, with the primaries in particular, is do two things at once. One, make sure that we're handling, the conflicts within our own party productively in seats that do not risk us losing the majority, while also making sure that we make Hakeem Jeffries the next Speaker of the House by rallying our base and giving people something to vote for. We cannot just be the party that is against Donald Trump. We have to be a party that doesn't have a 27% approval rating from our own base. That is not a survivable future. And the way that we change that is making sure that we have some different characters. We talk in Democratic politics all the time about it's the messaging, it's the messaging, it's the messaging. You can have Shakespeare write the best script in the world. If you have bad actors, it doesn't matter.
So I agreed with much of what David Hogg said there in that specific clip, except for one thing, which is this weird desire to ensure that Hakeem Jeffries gets to serve as Speaker of the House, which he hasn't been able to do. He's the House Minority Leader because the Republicans obviously have the majority in the House at the moment. I don't give a damn about Hakeem Jeffries. And in fact, everything I've seen from Hakeem Jeffries so far has shown that he's more of the same in regard to corporate Democrats taking Wall Street cash, corporate money, and that money has strings attached that run counter to what the Democratic base wants. So I'm not at all concerned about the future of Hakeem Jeffries' career. And I actually think David Hogg would be on a better path if he didn't care about that either. So it bothers me that he mentioned the importance of Hakeem Jeffries serving as Speaker of the House.
Yeah, I hear you. I think that so he's the vice chair of the DNC, and that's another way of saying the Democrats gaining control of the House, which he definitely should care about.
Yeah, then just say that. Just say that.
Yeah, I agree. That's the better way of phrasing it. But I think part of the reason that he phrased it that way is one, everybody in Washington talks that way because they love to kiss power's ass.
Okay, not a good sign then.
Right, and and David's not doing that. He's doing a real primary challenges of incumbents. That's wonderful. That's the substance that matters, right? But that's the kind of lingo that they use and are comfortable with. And he does strategically want to give them some comfort, because if he were to say, hey, I'm not interested in Hakeem Jeffries, oh my God, they'd come with pitchforks.
Yeah,
right?
You don't have to say that. You can talk about the importance of Democrats, winning and having majorities in Congress again, and that's fine. But once you tie your name to someone as ineffective in his leadership role as Hakeem Jeffries, you start to lose people. Now,
if you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
there's another trick that gets played, and I've subtly pushed back on it in the past, but I'm gonna push back against it even more aggressively moving forward, and here's what I'm talking about.
What David is trying to do is to not just help to re-energize the party, but to help rebrand the Democratic Party. My position is many of these so-called safe blue seats, and I can get in trouble. Many of them are seats that women and minorities finally had an opportunity to come and sit in, because there were no seats at the table for us. So before you start wiping clean the menu and the plates and the seats, be very careful.
I don't care. I don't care if they're black. I don't care if they're women. I don't care if those seats were, filled with old white men for decades and decades, and then for the first time in decades and decades, a woman was able to win that seat. I don't care. Are they effective at their job or not? And if they're effective, they shouldn't be concerned about a primary challenger. If they're ineffective, they will be concerned. And if they're ineffective, they should be primaried regardless of their race or their gender.
And you know who agrees with you, Anna?
Come on.
You know who agrees with you? Donna Brazile agrees with you.
Does she?
Okay, here's why.
Does she?
Hold on, let me explain why. Because when AOC and Ayanna Pressley were running against white men who were Democratic incumbents and served corporate donors, all of a sudden nobody cared about women or black people or Latinas or anything, right? You have to support the white men who are the wonderful incumbents of the Democratic Party. Now all of a sudden, you got people who might challenge incumbents, and some of them are black or women or something.
Donna Brazile is just another freaking establishment shill and race hustler. Oh, she sucks so bad just all around. They're talking about the future of the Democrat Party, whose approval rating is in the low to mid 20 percentile. And she says, don't primary people if they're a minority or a woman. She's a complete freaking idiot. Who cares what race they are if they're effective towards your party's goals? I mean, this is just what's great about the Democrat Party. I've said it before. Each individual in it has their own agenda because they have no values or principles that bind all of them. So each one has their own agenda, and all their agendas may cross over here and there, and they'll use each other when it helps further their agenda. But then when it doesn't, they want to break. I mean, look how many fractures we've identified in just a couple minutes of the clips that the Young Turks have been playing here. She's bringing up race. He's bringing up ineffective. Then you got woke and the ones that want to go more towards the center and the ones that want to lean into woke. I mean, this isn't just a little infighting. It's not a civil war because there's 10 different sides to it. They just can't agree with one another. It's gotten so bad for the Democrats, and they're so out of whack that, like, they might even have a good idea once in a while, but they're such a joke now. Like, I think most people just presume that it's going to be whatever idea is coming out of that party is going to be stupid. Anyway, let's wrap up the video.
Something, all of a sudden, they found a way to care about black people and women.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they're like, oh my God, I'm so worried that this is going to take things away from minorities. Yeah, you weren't worried when Cori Bush was being primaried.
Right.
You weren't worried when Jamal Bowman was being primaried. You weren't worried. In fact, you were worried about minority women winning the races against Joe Crowley, your beloved Joe Crowley, who was in Democratic leadership. So please spare me your nonsense hypocrisy. I'm so sick of their lies. And you know, guys, if you're a minority like I am, you should be extra mad at that BS, because what they're using you as is a human shield. So, Hakeem Jeffries does the bidding of every corporate donor. You remember what he did right after the election? He went to Silicon Valley to beg the tech billionaires for money and say, "Oh, what can we do for you?" Right? But if you criticize,
look at the people this party has in leadership. Freaking Hakeem Jeffries is about as interesting as a turd in a punch bowl. It's just, he's not dynamic at all as a speaker. Then David Hogg. I'm going to ask a question I've probably asked 1,000 times. Let me know if you know the answer to the comments. I'm really not even trying to be mean, and I mean what I'm saying. Why do 99.9% of Democrat leaders that are men appear to have zero testosterone? It's freaking crazy. It's such a feminized party. Like, if I was a normal guy's guy, I would and I was a Democrat, I would never admit it. I mean, I think that's pretty rare to find a normal guy's guy that's a Democrat. But in that rare circumstance, to that rare person out there, I highly recommend you just don't tell anybody you're a Democrat. It's really an embarrassing thing to be these days if you're male. But we want to hear from you. What do you guys think about David Hogg's plan to primary ineffective Democrat congressman? Let us know in the comments. Anyway, as always, really appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one.